right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Brutal breeze. The winds pick up a bit overnight, dropping wind chills well below zero. When the dangerous cold eases, and why any snow chance is so limited.
Tonight, a woman is dead, a toddler in a stroller critically injured. The role icy sidewalks may have played in a deadly crash. Dealing with a district in distress.
I want people to know St. Louis Public School is doing some magnificent things.
Only on 5 on your side tonight, the St. Louis School Board president is giving her take on the district's leadership turmoil. We start tonight at 10 with a weather impact alert. Dangerous cold is tightening its grip on St. Louis. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Temperatures will struggle to get out of the single digits tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell says it's going to feel even colder than that, Scott.
Wind chills are going to be an issue early tomorrow morning. We have a cold weather advisory for our area. And through the day tomorrow, the cold weather advisory actually ends at noon, but really even into the afternoon. The winds settle down, but your wind chills will still be a problem because temperatures tomorrow for some of us may not get back to 10 degrees. Mascouta's 13, so is Arnold, Baldwin, and Wildwood, 14 in O'Fallon and Alton right now. We actually have a front that's on our doorstep, and the winds are going to turn more to the northwest here shortly. When that happens, even colder air will start coming our way. It's 8 degrees below zero right now up in Des Moines, and it feels like 30 below zero there. So our wind chill right now in St. Louis is 2. Tomorrow morning, our wind chill in St. Louis is going to be somewhere between 10 and 12 degrees below zero, we think. So until Tuesday at noon, we have this cold weather advisory. Bottom line is you need multiple layers going out the door, something to cover your head, the scarf over your face, gloves on your hand. Single-digit low temperatures, our coldest morning so far this winter, right around 2 out the door in St. Louis, and those wind chills upwards of 15 to 20 degrees below zero north of St. Louis.
All right, Scott. And the dangerous cold is making the 3-day holiday weekend even longer for some students. A few dozen districts have already called off tomorrow.
For others, it's going to be a cold morning at the bus stop. Our Annie Krall is in the 5 on your side storm tracker tonight to show us what students and bus drivers could be braving in just a few hours. Annie.
Mike and Kelly, it's the story we've been talking about for weeks at this point. Frigid temperatures causing refreezing on the roads. I'm going to show you what we're looking at right now, right by Bayard Avenue, by Fountain Park. These icy roads, the side streets are what's been so hard for those plows to get through, and of course the refreezing and what the biggest issue is right now. And school administrators who I talked to today said heading into tomorrow, getting down these side streets as we head towards Page Boulevard, which is of course a main artery for the buses, is going to be one of their biggest concerns, especially when we're talking about having kids stand outside in the cold.
A cold weather advisory in St. Louis starting Monday at midnight has forced educators to stay one step ahead of Mother Nature.
Our buses are connected to heaters overnight to ensure they are warm and ready for students and drivers.
Parkway School District's Director of Transportation, Steve Jones, is expecting to shuttle close to 10,000 students come Tuesday.
When I mean overnight, they're plugged in, they're electrically plugged in, and it keeps the coolant level to 70 degrees. So, and then we bring a startup crew in that gets here at 5 a.m. and they start every bus for the drivers, and they're running for a good hour before we get them on the road.
Other districts like Rittner tell us the transportation department fired up all of their 24 buses at 6:30 p.m. Monday and then ran them for an hour. Rittner also saying they've, quote, purchased a special portable device to start the buses in case their batteries die or don't work. Rockwood schools start all their buses at 4 a.m. on days of extreme cold or snow, so things are clear before drivers begin their routes. Precautions echoed by Lift for Life Academy's executive director.
It's really difficult because the side streets are in miserable shape, and we've had to change our whole plan in transportation and come up with implement community stops because our buses have a difficult time getting through these side streets.
The National Weather Service recommends wearing a hat or hood while kids wait outside, if not both, plus a face mask, gloves, and a coat on top of at least 3 layers of clothing.
We will have the buses warm and toasty for them, but please dress warm because they are going to have to get out there, so we don't want to have anybody get sick or get frostbite because of being underdressed.
Now we just turned down Taylor Avenue. Things are looking, like we said, a little bit clearer, but still at ice on the side of the roads. Some schools, there's about 20 right now, have already decided to close because of the cold, because of the icy streets. So we have a full listing, of course, of the closings in the weather section of KSDK.com, so you can check to see what school might look like tomorrow. Reporting live in St. Louis, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
Developing tonight, St. Louis police are investigating after a woman was killed and a toddler sent to the hospital after getting hit by a car. It happened this afternoon on a busy West Florissant Avenue right outside Calvary Cemetery in North City. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski was at the scene earlier today. Laura.
Kelly, we don't know the names of those victims yet, but police say the woman who was killed was likely in her 20s to early 30s, and the child, only about 3 years old, is now fighting for their life in the hospital.
St. Louis police say around 2 o'clock on Monday, a woman was pushing a child in a stroller along busy Florissant Avenue when they were hit by a burgundy-colored car near Arlington Avenue.
A very preliminary investigation revealed that the striking vehicle was traveling eastbound on West Florissant and struck the two individuals who were walking parallel with the sidewalk on the street.
Lewis Richardson lives across the street from where the crash happened and saw the aftermath.
I came outside and I see the car pushed up there and it had somebody laying over there.
The sidewalks in the area are covered in inches of ice and snow. It's also piled up high on the shoulder. I witnessed several people walk the same path in the street right next to traffic. Richardson says the neighborhood needs help.
But the sidewalks, they're terrible.
Covered in ice?
Yeah, they're covered in ice and the snow packed. It's really frozen. You can't walk on the snow because it's slick.
Do you feel the sidewalks are safe right now?
That's something that I can't speculate on.
Police say the uninjured driver, who's in his 80s, stayed at the scene and cooperated with investigators. His car ended up caught in a fence, hitting a home on the corner.
It's our understanding that the damage is very minimal to the structure itself, and the building inspector has been out to take a look at things, and as far as I know, the building has not been condemned.
Mitch McCoy with St. Louis Police says it's one of the worst calls officers can receive.
These accident reconstruction investigators are out here right now to try and gather as much information as they can to ensure that we have all the facts that are relevant to this investigation, because we owe it to the young person and the baby, the young child.
Police say homeowners are responsible for their sidewalks, but couldn't say yet if anyone was going to be ticketed in this case. They tell us the child is still in critical condition in the hospital.
New details tonight in an officer-involved shooting in Maryland Heights that left a teenage suspect in the hospital with serious injuries. According to police, officers were chasing 2 stolen Kias early Saturday morning when a 16-year-old suspect hit an officer with one of the cars. The police chief says officers opened fire to stop the threat.
Anytime a 16-year-old is shot, it is sad and tragic, even if that 16-year-old is involved in criminal activity and making bad decisions. We sincerely hope that this young man makes a full recovery.
Police also arrested a 15-year-old suspect. The injured officer has since been released from the hospital. The department plans to release officer dash cam and body cam video once the investigation is complete.
A mother and daughter are dead after an early morning fire at their apartment in Washington, Missouri. Authorities say 72-year-old Sharon and 42-year-old Amber Pepmuller called 911 after spotting a fire at the bottom of their stairwell. Firefighters couldn't enter the house at first due to the fire's intensity, and they later found the bodies of both women upstairs. The cause is under investigation.
Tonight, several inaugural balls are underway in Washington to celebrate Donald Trump's second presidential term.
NBC's Susan McGinnis shows us the first hours of a second Trump administration have been a mix of pomp and circumstance and politics.
At the first inaugural ball for President Trump and the First Lady, even though it's their second time around. It's one of 3 balls capping a day filled with ceremonies, celebrations, even an indoor parade. But amid the festivities and galas, it was down to business. President Trump signing a flurry of executive orders trying to fulfill his campaign promises, including pardons for about 1,500 criminal defendants charged in the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
We hope they come out tonight, frankly.
About 10 actions are aimed at the U.S. border, including deporting undocumented migrants, resuming construction of the border wall, and restarting the Remain in Mexico policy. Another order attempts to end end birthright citizenship, requiring a reinterpretation of the 14th Amendment. And President Trump is ordering changes in U.S. energy and climate policy.
We have more oil and gas than any country in the world, and we're going to use it. We're not going to do the wind thing. I'm immediately withdrawing from the unfair, one-sided Paris Climate Accord ripoff.
An ambitious day one agenda as President Trump reclaims the White House.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Promising a new era for America.
Some of the executive orders President Trump has signed are certain to meet with legal challenges. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, NBC News.
President Trump's first day as president is sparking reactions here in St. Louis from both supporters and critics. Republicans in St. Clair County held a watch party for today's ceremony, serving champagne and McDonald's products, while members of the Party for Socialism and Liberation rallied against the 47th president in Forest Park, both groups taking today to share their visions for the country's future.
The country is feeling rejuvenated about being American. You know, the last 4 years have been an abysmal mess, and Trump is going to fix everything.
He's filling his cabinet with billionaires, and this is really all a way for them to get richer and richer while we get poorer and poorer.
The Party for Socialism and Liberation says it will hold more demonstrations throughout President Trump's second presidency. And you can watch President Trump's full inaugural address on the 5 Plus streaming app. It's free to download on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV.
Inauguration Day fell on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. This morning, the Gateway Region YMCA held its 40th annual MLK breakfast. The group honored community leaders and awarded scholarships to high school seniors.
Keep that dream alive! Keep that dream alive!
A group braved the extreme cold in Normandy for the Mid-County MLK Day Parade. The 3-mile walk ended with a program honoring King's legacy. And people also celebrated with the Day of Service. More than 100 people volunteered at the Little Bit Foundation in Maryland Heights. The nonprofit helps students get the resources they need to succeed in school.
Getting back above board.
I do want to address the myth that the district is broke. We're not.
Tonight, the St. Louis School Board president is opening up only to 5 on Your Side about the recent disorder in the district and her plans to fix it.
This is hard work. We're putting in 40, 50 hours a week.
Snow and ice across the deep south, that's going to cause big travel headaches there, while we remain in a dangerous deep freeze here. How long we have to wait to get back above freezing?
New at 10, the president of the St. Louis School Board opening up about leadership challenges and questionable credit card charges.
Tony Cousin says she's focused on moving forward, and she sat down only tonight with 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon. Brent?
Well, Mike, Kelly Cousins, who recently announced plans to run for another term, spoke freely with me tonight. Her reaction to a fellow school board member's abrupt resignation last week. Questions about board members traveling and getting flight upgrades. Even parting ways with the former superintendent.
There was questionable spending in regards to the superintendent.
The board made a decision to part ways with her.
Yes.
Did the board make the right call with that?
Yes, I believe that we did. It was best for us to sever ties with her.
School Board President Tony Cousins on the decision to dismiss former Superintendent Keisha Scarlett after what she called red flags.
When did that come to light? When did you start to get some inkling that things may not be where they should be?
It really came upon a time when it was more so time for her evaluation. We started having questions and concerns about some of the things we were looking at, mostly the hiring practice.
Our interview comes days after former school board member Sadie Weiss resigned publicly, citing unprofessional behavior and concerns about charges on the board secretary's credit card. Cousin says she didn't see it coming.
She has the ability, just like every other board member, she can actually go to the secretary and say, can I see the credit card statements?
And would you encourage her to do that?
Absolutely. I encourage any board member to do it.
She also said there were times where she felt like it was a two-person show. And specifically, she pointed to you and Matt Davis.
That's what I struggle with. It takes 4 votes to accomplish anything. You have to be present and involved, and not just at the board meeting. It's not just a Matt and Tony show.
Some of the charges included travel and flight upgrades.
Those are standard conferences that we actually have to attend. It's not a first class, type of upgrade. Southwest doesn't have, special boarding, so you go from C boarding to A boarding. So we're trying to get, get to the airport, do whatever. So it's not a policy violation. We are taking a deep dive. The Amazon charges, that's supplies, things of that nature that the board secretary was actually buying for the board. The board really didn't sit down and look at credit card spending. Like, that wasn't the job or the responsibility of the board in the past. Because of this, yes, we are putting safeguards in place.
Cousins praised the work of the interim superintendent and pointed out gains in student reading scores and enrollment. There's also a plan to fix the transportation problems that we all saw at the start of the school year. You can watch my full interview with Cousins tonight on KSDK.com.
Thank you, Brent. Well, tonight, St. Louis is mourning the loss of a music legend.
Yeah, Bob Cuban died this morning following complications from a stroke. The North County native is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for this one-hit wonder. Bob Cuban and the In-Men recorded The Cheater in 1966. The drummer's musical career was jump-started a decade prior when St. Louis rock and roll legend Chuck Berry made a stop at Riverview High School, where Cuban was a student.
Chuck stands up there and says, "Is there any drummers out there?" And all of a sudden, these guys all shoved me up on stage. I backed him on Maybelline and several songs that I just went ahead and played. And then after he got done, he says, "Boy, you're a good drummer." He says, "How long you been playing?" And I says, "About 10 minutes.
Cuban went on to perform with Berry and the likes of Ike and Tina Turner, The Temptations, and the Beach Boys, just to name a few. Bob Cuban was 84 years old.
A life well lived.
Yeah.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is back with the weather impact forecast. Dangerously cold temperatures.
Yeah, single digits already to our north and west, and it feels like that even below zero for some of us right now to the north and west of St. Louis. Pittsfield's dropped to 6, Columbia's 9. We're still in the low to mid-teens around St. Louis. We have a cold front that's coming through right as we speak, and with that, colder air will be filtering in behind it. Also, we're going to pick up a bit more of a gusty breeze that's going to take us into early tomorrow morning. So it feels like it's 3 below in St. Charles. The wind chill up in Pittsfield's already 10 degrees below zero. That is where we're headed for tomorrow. Wind chills 5 to 19 degrees below zero. You will need many layers going out the door tomorrow, especially in the morning. Towards lunchtime, the wind does settle a little bit, but you don't want to go out there with your hands exposed. So gloves, hat, scarf, and a few extra layers just in case. Our overnight lows, they are going below zero north of St. Louis, right around 2 in town. That'll be the coldest morning tomorrow that we have seen thus far, and it will feel even worse. Even though the winds aren't terribly strong tomorrow, wind chills are still running 10 to 20 degrees below zero as we head through the morning hours from St. Louis to the north. Here's our hour-by-hour wind chill forecast tomorrow. Again, as we head towards lunchtime into the afternoon, it eases just a little bit. Temperatures by then will get close to 10 degrees in St. Louis, but 2 to start out tomorrow morning. That cold air is coming in here, coming in pretty quickly. A lot of folks have been reporting frost quakes, hearing the pop, feeling a little shake. Well, it started overnight Saturday night into yesterday with temperatures really dropping off. And we had that deep snowpack, so that kind of insulated the ground. Well, Friday we got rid of a lot of that. And so as temperatures dropped yesterday, all that moisture in the soil that's saturated started freezing, and that creates expansion, and it creates the pressure on the bedrock, and then you hear those pops and you get those little rumbles. So you may have had a frost quake. Cold front's on the way in right now. Not bringing much in the way of snow for us. Where's the snow, you ask? Well, it's snowing in Houston. It's snowing in Dallas. The Deep South has problems for tomorrow. The snow is spreading even to places like Destin, Panama City Beach. Your typical St. Louis summertime getaways are going to be dealing with snow tomorrow morning. 16 right now, 21 was our high, 4 was our low. It'll be even colder tomorrow, around 2 to start, 11 degrees for your afternoon high tomorrow. Once we get past tomorrow, though, the good news is I don't see any more weather impact alert days coming our way, nor do we see a return to this bitter pattern that we have endured the last couple of weeks. But we just got to get through tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Temperatures tomorrow evening will kind of drop off during the evening hours, and about this time tomorrow night, they'll stop dropping and start rising during the overnight.
But be mindful, because tomorrow will be dangerous.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, very dangerous.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have a show for you. The Blues in a thriller. History for a local coach. An incredible win streak is over, and Wilson Contreras loves his Cardinal team. We'll be right back.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Onder Law Injury Attorneys.
Look, if the Blues want to leapfrog some teams and win that final playoff spot, you have to do some unexpected things. Winning in Las Vegas against the first-place Golden Knights is unexpected. The Blues need the veterans to dominate down the stretch, and the captain, Braden Shen, is obliging. This is his 6th goal in 7 games, note up 1-0. And later, the Blues on the attack, Nathan Walker will pounce on the rebound. Blues led 2-1 after 1. 30 seconds left in regulation. Vegas pulled the goalie, and Pavel Dorofeyev with the one-timer to tie the game at 4. And will you please look at Jim Montgomery's reaction? Oh my gosh. It's okay. In the shootout, Jake Neighbors scores. Jordan Binnington saves. Blues win 5-4. Talk to us, Coach.
Our pace and our effort. I thought our habits, stopping on pucks in the D zone, stopping on pucks that didn't get out of the D zone, stopping on pucks that were stopped at the goal line. I thought our numbers were really good, and I thought that everybody's second and third effort was really good.
LeBron James rooting on Ohio State in the national championship game. He had a lot to cheer about after a great opening drive by Notre Dame. The Buckeyes took over. Will Howard to the freshman, Jeremiah Smith for the touchdown. Howard came in the portal from K-State. And Quinshon Judkins came in the portal from Ole Miss. He will score the touchdown here. It's the best team money can buy, about $20 million in NIL cash. Ohio State wins the national championship 34-23. I think it's one of the great displays of passion in sports. Horrendous weather and a team that has made exactly 0 off-season moves actually draws big crowds for the winter warm-up. I mean, the Cardinals just received an off-season grade from The Athletic, and it was an F. Not a D, but an F. But it doesn't matter to some Cardinal fans. This is video that I shot about 11 a.m. this morning, and the lines were long for Wilson Contreras. They walk in the cold to get there. They pay money to get inside, and they have their moment with their Cardinal. In terms of Wilson, well, he's moving to first base, and he's also the most optimistic man in America.
When people start doubting me or doubting the team is what I hate. And it's a challenge for me to stay here and prove people wrong, prove people that we're going to be able to turn it around, we're going to be able to reach back to October and win a World Series.
It's one of the most amazing streaks in St. Louis sports history. The Incarnate Word Academy Red Knights had won 141 basketball games in a row. They had not lost a game in almost 5 years. I lost 5 pickleball games on Saturday morning. But today at the Hoop Hall Classic in Springfield, Mass., Dan Rolfes and his squad faced Etiwanda, the defending national champion out of California. Etiwanda has some players. How about this? Aliana Morris. Some deep threes. She had 26. Incarnate Word hung tough. Nevaeh Coffey had a game-high 32. Savannah Stricker will stop and pop. But the win streak ends after 1,808 days and 5 years. Etiwanda wins it 74-65. The MLK Classic at Clayton, Principi, and St. Mary's in the game of the day. Prin is a power now. Wyatt Slay will drain the 3. Here's one of the best shows in town. Zaire Collins, Yuri's little brother. What a move. Prin wins 68-54. I traveled to Belleville tonight to see this man coach. Jay Harrington is the coach at Southwest Illinois College, and tonight his squad took it to Jefferson Junior College, won the game 96-72. For Coach Harrington, it's his 1,000th win. We will have his story tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. And that'll do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Well, he's the Show Me State's president. How Harry Truman was the first to show the country the peaceful transfer of power.
I, Harry S. Truman, do solemnly swear.
75 years ago today, Missouri's favorite son took the oath of office at the U.S. Capitol. The second inauguration for Harry S. Truman was the first to be televised.
It was also the Budweiser Clydesdale's first inaugural parade appearance. They would return in 1993 for Bill Clinton, and you can watch the entire Truman inauguration coverage from 1949 on the 5+ streaming app.
And Scott has one final check of this cold weather.
Yeah, pretty amazing to go back and look at the history.
It really
Things have changed over the years now.
Just a
Where
little.
we can go and how things are done. Weather-wise, the cold is still with us tomorrow morning. Wind chills 10 to 20 degrees below zero. So it's dangerous cold, right? You need to have your layers. You don't want exposed skin going out the door. You can get frostbitten very quickly. You notice that we do have a number of schools closed, especially on the Illinois side for tomorrow. So just follow that list and check in tomorrow morning. You can check in on the 5 on Your Side app, or also you can check in at KSDK.com and see the updates to the closings.
And there you have it, 5 on Your Side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow. Be safe.